So this is our review for Napoleon Bunny-Part, and with me today is someone who actually lives close to where Napoleon actually used to reign, my good friend Fox in a Fix. Say hi.
Hi guys, it's true, I live in Europe too, and this cartoon might be one of my favorite Looney Tune shorts, which basically means it's among my top 100 or something.
Oh, yes, I mean, it's no Buddy's Bearcats, but, you know, it'll do.
They can't all be winners.
They can't all be winners, exactly. No, I'm kidding, of course. A few bits of info to get underway. So as mentioned, this is a review for Napoleon Bunny-Part, released on the 16th of June 1956. It's the 772nd in the series, and it's directed by Friz Freleng. You can find this on physical media in two ways, one good, one bad. I'll get the bad out of the way. It's on the Bugs Bunny Superstars DVD set, but it's cropped, which is a shame. That set actually would have been pretty good if it didn't have the cropping issue, but it is what it is. You're better off getting the Bugs Bunny 80th. It's on Blu-ray, so you get the better resolution anyway, and it's in full frame, in all its glory. So there you are. I have both sets in the description anyway, in case you do want both. Well, they'll be there. Because you and I own both, right? Because we're both just really obsessive Looney Tunes fans, huh?
Yeah, I do have both. I can't even play the DVD one because it's region 1. I do own it because I'm a completionist.
Yeah, but at least the cover looks nice. There's that, I guess.
And I think that cropping issue actually made for one of our first encounters 5 or 6 years ago. You helped me screen record a few of the Boomerang streaming app versions of these cropped cartoons.
Yeah, so there you go. So we've definitely got a connection with this one, but I can't show it here on YouTube though, because it is under copyright and Warner Brothers will just block the video if I try to play the full thing. So you're better off getting those sets. You'll own a copy forever, basically. But in case you haven't seen this one, Bugs makes a wrong turn. He thinks he's at a theatre when in fact he's in France from a few centuries ago. He encounters Napoleon and just proceeds to mess with him for the rest of the picture. So yeah, it's very straightforward and it's a whole lot of fun, isn't it?
Well, I like how Bugs just screws with him for the fun of it, at least at the beginning, like in his earlier days.
Yeah, it felt like an earlier McKimson, but there's no surprise there because Foster wrote the earlier McKimson efforts and he also wrote this one. So there's definitely similarity there.
Yeah, I really like the long sequence at the desk. It takes forever, but it's very funny.
Oh yeah, just this attitude from Bugs in that. This is one of the great ones. Even as budgets dwindle and ideas get repeated over and over, especially in the case of Friz, sometimes you get something like this and go, yep, he's still got it, and it definitely is here. But there's a few bits of trivia for this one, and look, I know this is going to be obvious to most of you, but I have to still mention it for the few that don't know. But anyway, the title, it's a parody of Napoleon's name, Napoleon Bonaparte, so instead of Napoleon Bonaparte, it's Napoleon Bunny-Part. Get it?
Ha ha.
Ha ha. Full credit to Friz, at least he has a title that makes sense, that actually has something to do with the short, unlike Yeesh, Hair Trimmed. I still hate that one. It's a brilliant short, but I hate that title.
Yeah, the worst one is Hairdo because it says absolutely nothing.
And I keep forgetting which one it is. It's like, oh, it's that one. So, yeah.
That one is also a lot like another one, so it's very confusing.
And for those who aren't aware, because again, not everyone's going to know everything, right? Some people just don't know the history. Napoleon, he was a military and political leader of France, and he was the emperor of the French at one point. And then after a while, he loses the Battle of Waterloo and he gets exiled. And, you know, we could go on for hours about his history. The man was very complex. The history is very complex. But all you need to know to enjoy this is that he was a leader of France at one point and he was very, well, we'll say stubborn.
Last year, a very nice movie about this person came out, so go watch that one if you want to catch up on the history of Napoleon.
Yeah, if you want a basic idea of his life, you can watch the Ridley Scott movie. Keep in mind, though, not everything is accurate. A lot of it is for narrative purposes. They change some things around, but at least you'll get a general idea, and then after that, go read a book and get all the real facts.
I think I even heard that he wasn't really that short, but he was depicted as a small person because he lost and he was everybody's enemy.
But a few other references here. Now, I do want to point out that in the production artwork that was found, the guard that you see, that really goofy looking guard, he looks very close to Mugsy, that gangster that's always with Rocky in those few shorts. And honestly, guys, they wouldn't have overthought this. They would have just gone, we need someone stupid looking. Oh yeah, we'll just draw this character. It just happens to look like Mugsy. So there's really nothing too deep with that. You know, they just went with a stupid-looking character, and that was it. Either that or Mugsy took a wrong turn as well.
The voice really sells it, though. It was a good choice to pick this model again, including the voice.
Exactly. And in the production artwork, it's called Goof. So, a distant relative of Goofy.
Well, everything's possible in a cartoon, I guess.
Exactly, but still, it works, and that's the main thing here. And you'll hear a few different references when it comes to music, especially. So you'll notice when you see Napoleon for the first time, he says,
c'est la guerre. They will take the high road, and I will take the low road.
I'll take the high road, they take the low road. That's just off of a Scottish folk song called The Bonnie Banks of Loch Lomond. And this is not the first time Looney Tunes has done this, okay? But that's where it comes from, in any case. But did you notice a lot of the weird stuff on the jukebox that Napoleon just happens to have, which is a beautiful anachronism, by the way?
I didn't really pay too much attention to that because I didn't recognize a lot, but did you?
Sure did. So the St. Louis XIV Blues, no, it's not the St. Louis Blues, which is a hockey league franchise that came a decade later. That started in the 60s, for what I understand. No, that is the St. Louis Blues. That was a song from the 1920s, covered by many people. Duke de Ellington, that's a play on the musician Duke Ellington. So that one's
clever.
And it goes Count de Bassy. That's a play on the musician Count Bassy. The Bastille Boogie, and the song is the Bassy Boogie, and that's from 1950. So fairly new at the time. So there's that one. There's no artist listed for 3 coins. 1, 2, 3. The way it's written in the Fontainebleau. That is a little coins in the fountain. That's just a little song that's just about everyone's heard. And I Ain't Got No Body, the Guillotiners. Ha ha. But there was a song called I Ain't Got No Body, but they just, split the no body. It is beautiful. But yeah, those are the references right there. And if I got any of that wrong, or if you think there's more to it, definitely let me know in the comments as always. So, you and I have a bit of a connection with this one, but otherwise, I remember seeing this, for the first time on the Superstar set. Even though it was cropped, I found myself really enjoying it. It's a standout. I'm glad they went for Napoleon and not Sam, because they could have just easily made this as Sam as Napoleon, but no, I'm glad that they did it this way.
Yeah, they could have gone even worse and picked Elmer or something. I do feel like this short is a little bit ignored by the community. I don't see many people reference this as one of their favorites.
Curiously, though, imagine if Elmer was in this role, it'd be like Josephine or something. You just do the Elmer voice. But no, I'm glad that they've done this. But then again, this might have been shown on TV for many people in certain regions. So for those of you watching, if this was something that was shown all the time for you, definitely let me know in the comments. I would like to know.
I also like how this Napoleon character just uses Mel Blanc's voice with a heavy French accent and sped up. I like sped up voices anyway, so that's a win for me too.
Yeah, and it's Mel Blanc doing everything in this short, like literally everything, and it works really well. It's so good that you forget that this is just one person talking to himself, basically. Granted, he wouldn't be changing voices on the fly in the studio. He would have recorded all of one voice, then the other, but still, it's one person talking to himself, and you forget that.
Definitely, he's very talented.
Yeah, for sure. But what we can do is take a look at this short, I reckon, from start to finish and see why this one is a classic, even at this late period of time. I like the title cards with just the way that Bugs looks. He's just got that smug look, the ears are down, and even the added touch of the BB on his hat as well. But hey, to be fair, by this point, he actually did conquer the world, unlike Napoleon, through merchandise and just general popularity.
And maybe he has a longer lasting legacy than Napoleon after all.
Exactly. But both are still well known to this day, just one for better reasons than the other, of course. But we open up, I like headquarters do Napoleon, and they just have to do a translation in the bottom, even though it's pretty obvious as to what the translation would be, even if you don't speak French.
Yeah, that was a great start.
But the whole thing that's interesting is, you'll notice in this short, and many shorts by Friz Freleng around this time, is a lot of the shortcuts. And they're not bad shortcuts, but there's a lot of off-screen action. You don't see a lot of things being done. So when Bugs is
Right.
tunneling, for example, all you're seeing is these soldiers just perking up a little bit, and that's it. You don't see the action at the feet, which would have been more costly to animate. But still works.
Yeah, I think Freleng is kind of the king of not showing things, and therefore those things being more effective or funny, and also being cheaper.
Again, it works. Bugs is traveling through, we're going through all these beautiful Irv Weiner backgrounds, and it's not the most flashiest backgrounds. I think he's done more interesting stuff in other shorts, but this one looks nice.
Yeah, the backgrounds are great as always. And I think Freleng also uses a lot of still frames, like a lot of poses that are drawn really funnily.
Yeah.
That also are very effective.
It just works. You know, the backgrounds aren't overpowering. Sometimes with Chuck Jones, as much as a lot of his artistic backgrounds are amazing to look at, sometimes they really do overpower the actual foreground action. And here, everything complements each other. It works really well.
It looks great, it looks vibrant, and it's off to a great start.
Bugs pops through, and I just love the whole running gag where he's taken a wrong turn somewhere. And in this case, he's taken a wrong turn to the point where he's gone through some sort of a time portal. He's not only gone to the wrong destination, he's gone back in time as well. But you know, you don't question these things.
Hey, where am I? Huh. One wrong turn off the Hollywood freeway, and I end up in a theater lobby. Well, as long as I'm here, I might as well see the show. Hope it's a cowboy and engine picture.
I have no idea what happened here. Sometimes it's explained, it's part of a dream or something, or he really is himself in the past. He seems like a time traveler or some sort. And in the end, you still don't know if it's really Napoleon he met.
You just go with it, and it's done in a way where you don't really question it. I just thought it was amusing that he's just somehow gone back in time as well. But Bugs thinks he's in a theatre lobby, and to be fair, back then, theatre lobbies were pretty grand. I mean, yes, a lot of them were starting to shut down because of television coming through and that, but still, many theatres had grand lobbies such as this.
Don't bother, Mac. I'll find myself a seat down front.
You can't blame Bugs for thinking that he's actually in a movie theatre.
Did you ever play one of those games that came out in the late 90s, I think, for the PC and PlayStation called Lost in Time and Time Busters?
Nope.
Could have been part of those games, I think.
We've got Bugs, he's thinking those soldiers are ushers, and he sees Napoleon there. It's funny how he's gone from thinking that he's in a movie theatre to all of a sudden accepting the fact that, oh yeah, I've gone back in time and here's Napoleon. It's a weird little change, but it's so subtle you don't even notice it.
Yeah, this doesn't have to make sense at all. It's all for the jokes.
We see Napoleon, the wonderful Funko Pop design that's Philly shorts are known for around this time. Everyone's got that square look about him. The designs of the Friz Freleng shorts of the late 1950s are just really unique, that everyone looks like Funko Pops, basically.
I think it's a really fun design. It's really memorable. And I like the whole setting of the desk area. You have to wonder if the placing of the artillery has any historical accuracy as well.
I honestly doubt it, but hey, if anyone who's more of a historian when it comes to Napoleon way more than me, definitely let me know in the comments as to whether any of these placements were accurate in any meaningful way. Again, I doubt it.
Hey, Doc. Doc. Who, me? Come here a minute. Where you putting the artillery? There. Here.
We definitely see some fun stuff here. Just the way Bugs' the attitude he's got in this scene just makes me laugh so much. I mean, you said before, this scene goes on for a long time, but it's done so well. It reminds me of the Hunting trilogy that Chuck Jones did. It's just manipulation of the scene here.
He does it just for the heck of it, to screw with him. He has no other motivation, so it's hysterical to me.
No, here. I am the Emperor, and I say here. Isn't that a coincidence? That's just where I decided it should be. The Emperor makes the decisions around here. It will go there.
Just that whole smugness of Bugs where he's like, nah, don't put it here. You should put it here. No, I'm going to put it here. I'm the Emperor, and so on. So there's a lot of that toing and froing in this scene, and sure enough, Napoleon then accepts Bugs' idea for whatever reason.
Okay, it goes there. The plans are perfect. I will conquer the world.
This great scene goes on for a long time, but it works so well. We get to a bit where, as I understand it, it was even cut during certain showings that involves snuff. And for those who aren't aware, snuff is like tobacco. You would just sniff it and you get your hit of nicotine. You would have seen that in The Skull and Pumpernickel, where Daffy sniffs up his nose and then starts going into a sneezing fit. Similar idea here, though.
Yeah, this is one of the best parts, I think. Bugs' face after sneezing is priceless. And he holds that pose for so long.
I mean, I wonder who animated that. Maybe Art Davis? It looks kind of wonky.
I have no idea who animated this. I only sometimes recognize Virgil Ross, but that's the only one.
But just the deranged face here, and by this time, again, because of budget's lowering, a lot of the animation posing is more simplified, but in this case, you'll have these one-off moments here and there of just pure, fully animated bliss, even at this late point in time. Just the sneezing, fantastic. It's such a great animated scene.
The plans are ruined! Guard! Les saboteurs! Les spies!
Should we call him Nappy when he throws a fit and Bugs is just standing there all befuddled because of the sneeze? I know, it's just very funny.
And what's also funny, and this is something that might be lost on certain people because, all right, babies wear what Americans call diapers, right? In Australia, we call them nappies. So whenever he's calling him a nappy, it's more funnier to me because it's like his baby's. Yeah, I don't think that was intentional at all, given that these were made in America, but still, it's now extra funny for my region.
Yeah, maybe they had an Australian audience in mind when they made this one.
And so we see our goof character walk in, doing a salute and falling over, just showing how stupid actually he is, but great piece of animation on that fall as well. I just love that design once again, even though, yes, it's pretty much Mugsy who's taken the wrong turn, time traveling, but still a great one.
Yeah, it gets a pass from me.
And I mentioned before the whole less is more thing when it comes to Friz Freleng. Case in point, we get a mini chase scene, doesn't last very long, and we just hear the sound effect when the goof's bayonet ends up hitting Napoleon in the rear, which, ouch, that would hurt.
It even sticks there, doesn't it?
That looks pretty painful, but Napoleon being a really quote-unquote strong leader, can't let pain get in the way of his work in conquering Europe, right? And then another bit of off-screen action.
Well, I am waiting, monsieur.
I hate this.
Well, I guess the goof needs to have the bayonet on his bottom, and we don't even see the poking. We just see the aftermath of him actually just flying up in the air and screaming in pain. So you'll see a lot of this.
Yeah,
it makes sense, though.
And it's funnier that way, to be honest.
It is, and this is the sort of thing that Hanna-Barbera would end up taking in terms of their cues when they're doing the stuff for television. It's like, well, why show certain action when you don't have to? You just put sound effects and it does the same job.
And here it's used very creatively as well.
Goof has his bayonet back. We see that Bugs is playing the actual map as though it's a game.
I also like Bugs' remark about Nappy's planning map beating Scrabble by a mile.
Hey, Nappy, this has got Scrabble beat a mile. You ought to patent it.
Because there was a game that came out not long after this called Risk. I saw that someone wrote a comment saying that, hey, maybe the inventor saw this short and they got the idea of it. I don't think so. I think it's just a coincidence that Risk came out a few years after this.
Bugs does notice that Nappy should patent it.
Yes, he should, definitely. And given how popular Risk was, maybe even Napoleon should have. But we enter into the Le Grand Ballroom, and the fact is, I just love the design of this jukebox, which, okay, it's an anachronism. There were no jukeboxes, obviously, at the time, but it's designed in such a way that you could believe it did exist back then. It's so clever.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it was so much blend in with the whole scenery that I didn't even notice that it's not supposed to be there.
It's done so well. It's just like in other shorts where you've got telephones in the 1800s, that sort of thing, in the Wild West in America. So it's stuff like that. But the design is just done so well that you forget that, yeah, there were no records back then. It was just live music. If this was historically accurate, there would have been an actual mini orchestra in this room.
I think very little about this is accurate.
I mean, the fact is, we're watching a short with a talking rabbit, for crying out loud. But yeah, I just think it's hilarious.
Nappy! Josephine. Mon petit gabage. Shall we dance?
Napoleon references Bugs as Josephine. Josephine was
Right.
the empress, so that's who she was, in case anyone was wondering. And the fact that he doesn't even recognize his own wife just shows how much, I guess, he really, truly cared about Josephine, right?
I wonder what's on the hit parade.
One thing I forgot to mention during my recording with Fox is Bugs' reference to What's on the Hit Parade. And that's a reference to a program that started out as a radio show and by this time was a television show. It was called Your Hit Parade. And every week they would show off the most popular and best-selling songs of the week. So that's what that's referring to.
Yeah, also, isn't it great how Nappy is staring at Bugs in drag? It's also a highlight. Also another pose that is hold for a few seconds until it becomes so funny.
And just the way he looks so smitten when he notices Josephine. And this dance sequence, just the animation as well. It's definitely a highlight. Look, maybe this is not the finest drag moment for Bugs, but you know what? It's up there. It's a good one.
I've heard that most of those dance sequences, Jerry Janicki is called to do it, but I'm not sure if he did this one as well. I think he might have.
Usually he does, yeah. And as you mentioned before, Napoleon's just so smitten by what's going on. He's just that one held pose for the longest time. And then he looks down and notices, yeah, the tail, and that whole sequence just ends.
It's always the tail giving it away.
You'd think Bugs would have learned by now, but maybe just wanted to get caught. Maybe just likes messing with him. I don't know. But we see a wonderful scene in terms of layouts. I love the way this whole thing is laid out, where you got Bugs sliding down, you've got Napoleon sliding down, and Bugs, at some point, he's left the actual banister, and Napoleon ends up getting poked once again. We've got that wonderful little running gag, and again, it's all off screen. You don't see the poking.
No, also you don't see Bugs getting off. It's just wonderful timing how suddenly he's next to the banister.
But boss, but.
And I think they reused the animation for when the Goof gets poked, so he's actually flying up mid-air. It looks almost the same drawing, actually, or at least one of the poses from earlier. It works, though, because you just see it briefly. It's like, well, why redraw it? We've already got the reaction shot. Just reshoot that one little drawing and it's done. And I just like as Goofy's falling back down, he just gives the Bugs that death stare, that whole I hate you stare.
Yeah, I must say I was a little turned off when it seemed like Bugs won and he went upstairs and suddenly Nappy was standing there and the whole sequence was over. It was kind of a cheap cutoff point, I think.
But I do like the way it's laid out, though. I mean, regardless of whether you think the gag is effective or not, I just like the idea that Bugs is walking up. We just see the feet. We pan over. We just see Napoleon or Nappy just rotating his gun in that one pose there. And we just pan back. It's like, yeah, okay, you're caught.
Fun's over.
As we head to the guillotine. Again, wonderful layouts. It tells the story effectively with the whole less is more approach. We see the drums. In the background, we see the Bugs, Napoleon, and the hooded executioner just as part of the background there. It works really well.
So that's your guillotine. Yeesh. How are you fixed for blades, Mac?
We see that Bugs is going to be executed, and when Bugs peeks underneath, so he basically says, how are you fixed for blades, Mac? And I believe that's a jingle from the Gillette Corporation. You got to have your blade pun, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I knew the reference, but it's clear he's taken on the role of some salesman.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we get another, I think this also happens multiple times in these shorts, but when the guillotine comes down and the bad guy's back is all shaved off.
A variant of that in Stalk Naked. It happens to Daffy inside the home because he set up a guillotine.
Must have happened to Wile E. Coyote as well at some point.
But you do have to wonder, after this chase scene where they're just chasing after each other, where exactly did Bugs assume the role of the executioner? Just done so well, and you know it's Bugs, just with the eyes in that one shot.
Turn in your hood. Meow. What's up, Nappy? Sacre Iliac! Fire the alarm! The rabbit has escaped!
Yeah, and then suddenly he's in the cannon, so he's very good at hiding, but it took him off guard because he's really shook by the fact that he was busted.
But we see in the end, though, that the whole thing ends in a rather weird way, so it does make you question exactly what you've seen, whether all of this is just some kind of an illusion, because we see two psychiatric workers.
Hey, Pierre! Here's another Napoleon!
That's the 12th one today.
But I am Napoleon! Sure you are. I will have you executed for this!
For those who aren't aware, there was the Napoleon syndrome or condition, whatever it's called, where people thought they were Napoleon. And they've referenced this in so many Looney Tune shorts and other shorts in general, where if you think you're Napoleon, you're basically crazy. So that's what that reference is.
It's kind of a cheap gag, but I do like it, but it's so confusing because was it just being random with all the modern stuff, or was it a sign that it's not the real Napoleon?
But again, another anachronism. I just like the fact that those workers just look like your stock standard 1950s psychiatric workers. Just happen to be there. It's so weird.
I'd like to think that it really was Napoleon and really was that day and age, and there were so many people going crazy thinking they were Napoleon that they accidentally took the real one.
Yeah, including Bugs at the end, who says, "Oh, I'm Napoleon." He pulls out the flute, he plays La Marseillaise, and that ends up transitioning to Yankee Doodle, and he goes back into the hole, and yeah, we end right there.
Great short. We talked about almost everything in every gag, but go watch it for at least the animation and the timing.
And in this particular case, yeah, it's a later Friz during the period of time where, yeah, he's pretty much on autopilot. And speaking of autopilot, the short we're going to discuss next, well, yeah, that's the definition of autopilot. Yep, it is. But honestly, though, when he's not an autopilot, Friz can still deliver the goods, Warren Foster can still deliver the goods, and this is a great one. Honestly, this one gets 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. You know, it's not his finest, but he gets the job done. I really like this one.
I think 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I wasn't sure if I was going to give it a 9. I was like, maybe, I don't know. Depends on the day, I guess. But this is a really good one and a highlight of the late 1950s for Friz. So, yeah, I think that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And until next time, take care.
Imagine that guy thinking he's Napoleon when I really am.